Obey Jesus, saving Bitcoin. Jeremy Hayne. Alright, happy Independence Day.
Happy 4th of July.
We want to talk about the big, beautiful bill passes. I keep a spreadsheet, wins for the Trump administration. We're at 128. And I want to just go over some Supreme Court things before I get into what I'm about to say. Supreme Court on April 7th rules against a liberal judge who put in a nationwide injunction that Trump cannot send illegal aliens out of the country immediately. The Supreme Court ruled 5-4 that Trump could, because he's the president. 5-4 ruling. That means John Roberts was actually a good boy, and Amy went with the women. So keep that Supreme Court order in mind. On June 23rd, Supreme Court rules against a liberal judge. Trump can send illegal aliens to any country. It don't have to be back home. We can send them all to the Sudan and pay them very little money relative to $40K a year here to keep them lifting weights and watching TV, internet access, like the way we treat these people.
Better than our criminals.
4 days later, the 27th, this is, the last 2 weeks, Trump's just had amazing wins. Supreme Court rules liberal judges can no longer have a national injunction. This means if I don't like something and I'm a liberal judge, I can put an injunction on the president and the government to stop. But it doesn't apply to all such cases nationally. I can't believe that was ever a thing. And it only applies to this case, this guy right here. So that shuts down all of these liberal judges working in collusion over 5 or 6 liberal districts.
With all the handlers.
Just stopping Trump. All coordinated and creepy. So I just want to go through all that, right? So the Supreme Court has said, yep, president can send anybody out immediately. Yep, he can send them to other countries. Yep, no more national injunctions. And in here, Alligator Alcatraz in Florida, Everglades, open up July 1st. What happens yesterday, July 3rd? The big, beautiful bill passes. And then Trump is going to have... he was doing all of this with Joe Biden's old budget for deporting. Now he's going to get the big, beautiful bill budget, which is like an extra... $70, $100 billion. They're going to have so much money. ICE is going to have so much money. They're going to have more money than most countries' militaries. And you're going to start to see some massive deportations. You're going to start rounding up groups, and it's going to be good. So remember now, Trump has said from the beginning, please self-deport. The previous president invited a bunch of people in. They came in. I can't be mad at them because the president opened the door. Terrible president. But the new president has said, please leave. That please is going away.
Go.
After the please, it's just leave.
Yeah.
We will help you, though. We'll give you $1,000 and a ticket. That's going to eventually expire, too. The longer you stay, remember, Trump is a real estate guy. Yeah. Evictions are part of the deal. First, it's like, it's the 5th. You owe me $50, late fee plus. 2-3 more of them, and it's like, you gotta go.
Yeah.
Oh, you're not gonna go? Eviction. Yeah. Oh, you're gonna damage my property while you go? Okay, lawyers. If it's in a blue city, right, in a blue state, they can just squat. Illegal aliens are squatters. Yeah. They're national squatters. Yeah. Now, if you're cool and you just go and you take the money, you can come back. Yeah. But if you make us grab you, like the bouncer at a strip club and you just it's 150 and they close at 2 and your creepy ass just won't leave.
Yeah.
They will grab you and take you.
Yeah.
Don't wait for that guy. They send warnings. They do the light flicker thing. Leave when the first round is done. Strip club, regular club, bar, lounge, wherever you go to try to get laid. There's a point where the people that run the establishment are like, "We're done." You know, it's that closing time song.
I was just thinking that.
You don't have to go home, but you can't stay here.
Wait, yeah. In other words, like, don't wait till you hear the song lyrics. Okay.
Yeah. You can, but once you do, leave. If somebody actually comes over and tells you,
Yeah.
leave.
Yeah.
If you don't, another person is going to come.
Yeah.
And it's going to be a different thing.
Mm-hmm.
So don't make Trump do the different thing.
Yeah.
The please leave, the please is kind of gone now.
Yeah.
And now it's just the bouncers coming.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
don't squat
Yeah.
and you can come back. And like I said, I've said this in previous videos, I've been to other countries. 6-month visa, but I'm there just to vacation.
Yeah.
I spend money liberally. I follow the laws. I'm polite. I stimulate the economy. I always have a good time. But I'm not trying to stay illegally.
Yeah.
I'm not criticizing their president, their
Yeah.
culture, their ways.
Yeah.
I'm not being disrespectful in any way.
Yeah.
I'm certainly not asking for free money or free health care, blah, blah, blah. I don't do any of that.
And you didn't destroy their flag.
I would never go to another country and burn their flag, criticize their president, or make fun of them. I go, I enjoy myself, I leave. Somebody's rude, I quietly go somewhere else.
Mm-hmm.
I ain't getting in trouble in a place
No.
where I don't speak the language.
No.
I mean, that's crazy.
No.
I've been to Mexico, always had a good time. Been to France, been to England, been to Holland. One of them other ones.
And what's that?
Italy.
Marseille? It's in Italy?
Marseille's in France.
Oh, it's in. Okay. Okay. I thought
Yeah,
it was
Paris and France. I've been
Yeah,
to Marseille.
okay.
Well, actually, Cassis.
Italy.
Cassis, but it's right by there.
Yeah.
So, it's not like I'm a world traveler, but like 4 or 5 countries.
Mm-hmm.
Always the same way. I conduct myself, with class.
That's right.
And the big, beautiful bill, it gives Trump enormous power to deport all 21 million.
Yeah. Yeah.
And, I voted for it.
Mm-hmm.
And I want it. There's too many people here that just aren't showing respect for the country.
That's right.
So,
Yeah.
there you go.
Well, everything Jeremy said plus, okay? Because I'm a long time advocate of feeling that you should be respectful of others, and if you're not being respected, to not be in that situation. Okay, let me put it that way, and I'm sure that all of you can understand. I'm going to use an example. Say you're in a bad relationship, all right, and you're working your way out of it. Okay, so you know that you're not being respected, right? No matter what you do for that other person, you're not going to get treated better. It's just the way it is. Okay. That's how the human condition is for some, and I'm a very long time advocate that you don't stay loyal to those who aren't loyal to you. So, being that Biden was our president, who was supposed to be loyal to us and wasn't, okay, for 4 years and longer, I'm going to just take the presidency part, and we were stuck with him basically, who didn't vote for him. And I never acknowledged him personally as my president. So I'm just going to take myself out of this one because I never did. I didn't care who in the conversation I was with. I just didn't. But anyway, that was me being so upset because of MAGA and wanting Trump in because he deserved to be in. He proved himself the first 4 years and he wanted to prove it again. And it was stolen from him. All right, so there's that. Now, you got a reluctant president who wants to be treasonous to us, Biden. I'm only going to go with him. I'm not going to go before him because they all know what they've done, okay? Now, Biden, take for instance, because he was the last president, so I'm going with that. Not only was he treasonous, we don't know who he's working for. And I hope and pray that Trump will find that out, and if he does know it, let us know, okay? Also that not only that too, he protected the bad ones. So basically, he took 170 or more plus. Tom Homan, says maybe more than that we know of is about 170, something like that. Countries, foreign countries. He sold our country out to foreign government and let them send their people here. And if you remember, Trump said this back in the day, years ago. Those years ago, that no one listened to him and said he was a maniac when he said they would send their criminals and their worst and their insane asylum people and all the worst people. They're not going to send their good people, because their good people stimulate their economy, like Jeremy did when he went visiting, just visiting. Okay, these foreign residents are in their countries, born and raised, and they're stimulating their economy. The ones in jail are the ones they sent us. So we're housing them now. As much as I think Alcatraz alligator is a tool that will be good use, I still say that we're putting even more money out to house them in a capacity when we could just send them home, send them packing. If you ever stay a guest over your house, okay, I know I saw a podcaster say this once, I can't remember who it was, but he was right. If you have a guest come to your home, right, and they come in and they right away, I don't know, mess up your house, okay? They come in and do things that aren't manners, like putting their feet on the table, or, these might sound like little things, but they're annoying, right? So say you have a guest that comes over, right? And they're doing all these things, and they're like just making their house, they're your house, their home, okay? And you're like, well, actually, I paid a mortgage, it's my house, right? You gotta go. Well, I know that sounds like it's lame, but if you think about it in a bigger forecast situation, 21 million doing that? Seriously? Okay, and then Jeremy mentioned squatters. Okay, now you're talking even about another realm. Another podcaster mentioned about squatters, how they're allowed to come in. Can you imagine? You go away for a week, you come home, like, God forbid, that, when my sons went to Europe, of course they were in an apartment, but still, say it was a house, they came home and they got people like, what the heck is going on in my home? And because it does happen, it happens. It's happening every day, like he said, in the blue states. So they got to work on that too. Now, I don't know what Trump could do about that, but Trump is our president, as Biden was, and he does the exact opposite of everything that Biden did. So basically, he's going back and changing time. Okay, and keeping it in the present at the same time. I don't know what kind of person you are. Are you an old-fashioned type person, or you're a modern thinker? My mom, when I was growing up, always said to me, Lydia, think modern. Okay, and she had old-fashioned ways, but she wanted you to think modern. Stay with the times. Okay, stay with the times. So, and it worked out for me, by the way, at workplaces, especially. Staying with the times, because you're all on a team and you all got to do the same things to help to support the company, and that you all have jobs and everything. So in that way, she was really right about that. Anyways, so you had a President Biden who allowed all these people in, like you said, invited them in, right? Now the borders are now open, come. I remember it. I still keep the YouTube just as a reminder for that. So
and for that, I don't blame the illegals.
Well, yeah,
but new management has asked you to leave.
Yes, and so thank you. Now I'll segue that into a job.
So I'm not mad at him for coming. I would have come too. The president says, "Come on," but the new president says, "Time to go."
Well, yeah, and not only that, but say you're on a job, right, and you have the manager invites 10 people in the interview, okay, and he hires 8. Okay, so he got 8 people. He still needs 2, right? So what does he do? He calls the temps in, like me. I was a long time temp, okay, in California. But it helped me pay my bills. So anyways, then you go get 2 out of the temp pool, right? Now you got 10 people, right? Now those 10 people don't all jive with each other. They're not all doing what the manager wants, right? So what's the manager going to do? Not all the time, thank you God, did he get rid of the temps first. Even though they were permanent people, they could still mess up enough to annoy the manager, because, like, my production's not getting done. How come the temps are doing twice the work that you guys are doing in their temps? Seriously, right?
That happens.
Yeah, and believe me, when I was in the workforce, I was very productive. It was like that person that was called tenacious, because I just didn't want to drop the bone. You know what I mean? So I know what I'm talking about. Now, you have those 10 people, 2 are temps, 8 are perms. He has the right to fire all of them. All of you. He has the right. Why does he have the right? He's the manager. You're not doing production. He's got quotas. He's got a manager. Everybody has a manager. Everybody. Presidents of companies have CEO. They have chair people they have to answer to. Everybody has a boss. Everybody, okay? So don't mind if you're pushing a broom, which I've done too, by the way, in my careers.
And the president has to win re-election.
Yes.
He's got a boss too.
Yes, he
And
has
if
a
he goes all hog wild, the next party will win the next election.
and we're his boss, and he
We
knows
are
that.
Trump's boss.
Yes, and he's as much as said it in his rallies. If you really listen to what he said, I know that sometimes Trump went overboard on things, but you know there's a reason for that. You know, because he was hoping he'd get the point out. Sometimes you don't get that point because you're not hearing it enough or you're not listening. So he tried to take care of it so that everybody would please at least have a chance to hear what I have to say. Okay? Well, so much to say that he got the all-time winning on presidency for everything, okay? Even popular, which when one time he wasn't popular, and now he is. He's earned every stripe he's got. So all he's doing...
I would say by the 2018 midterms, he was probably least popular.
Yeah.
Because, if you remember Jeff Flake and John McCain and Paul Ryan and Mitt Romney, and it was full, but by midterms 18, it was full. More than half the country, I think, was not sure what to make of Trump with the Russia thing.
Yeah.
Like half of the country definitely, a third of the country, which is Democrat, you figure a third of the country don't care about politics, a third's Republican, a third is Democrat. A third of the country thought Trump was a Russian spy.
Yes. Yes.
Some independents didn't know what to make of him or believed it. And then some Republicans were like, what is the deal with this? Like, why do they keep pushing this so hard? It was all bullshit. But we didn't know that yet because Bill Barr didn't force Mueller to show his cards till like year 3.
He didn't show his betrayal. And the thing is that this is...
So when those 2018 midterms come, a whole bunch of Americans thought Trump was a Russian spy.
Yes, and all along, who was the real traitor in that deal, in that duo partnership?
You want to talk about a psyop?
His VP, Mike Pence. He was the one that ended up being the traitor because he could have made it so that Trump won what he was supposed to rightfully want, and he didn't. He didn't back it.
Yeah, but in hindsight, I don't want to cut into you, but in hindsight, Trump and getting that election stolen was the best thing.
Yeah.
For one, the American people got to see Biden.
Yeah.
2, Trump still would have hated crypto.
Yeah.
Because they didn't. Biden debanked Trump.
Yeah.
He went to the banks and told, he had a list. All of Trump's family debanked. They had nowhere to go but to follow the Julian Assange model when he got debanked under Obama.
Mm-hmm.
Bitcoin. And Trump now loves Bitcoin.
Yeah.
That would not have happened if Trump was not stolen from.
But, more importantly...
And Bitcoin is going to explode under Trump.
More importantly, though, his sons are the ones who really got him involved with Bitcoin. To push them over the leap. Push... Because he trusts them. You're going to trust your sons, right?
If you remember, in 2019, in the summer, it was Trump that put the ceiling on Bitcoin when it was at 14K. It was on its way back to 20, to all-time highs, and then the President of the United States says, I don't like it, it's a scam, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
He got stolen from and then debanked, and he had no choice but to go outside the system to function his business internationally, and that's Bitcoin.
And that's what I call coming out of your box.
And that's why he's so in love with Bitcoin and getting us a storage. He already by executive order gave us a Bitcoin reserve, but the Cynthia Lummis bill to buy 1 million Bitcoin, that we're going to start working on that probably like August.
Well, Bitcoin, like I said, I've been on it since 2014. And that's due to my son, and who he helped many people, including his dad and his brother, all of us. his girl, everybody. So anybody who would listen to his ranting about
Well, I talked to everybody. Only 4 people acted.
yeah.
So, yeah.
But it was a good rant. It was a good rant because he like
I worked it into in the year 2013. I worked it into every conversation.
Yes, that's what I mean by
Through,
good rant.
like,
That's a good rant.
Probably
Yeah.
until Mount Gox. Then
Yeah.
I was like, oh, I'm gonna stop talking about this.
Yeah, but-
I thought Bitcoin was gonna die after Mount Gox.
Yeah.
But in 2013, I literally told everybody about it.
But see that's
And then in 16 and 17, when I realized it couldn't be killed, I started talking about it again.
But that it did help though. It helped us all. So take that example, okay? Go a little further. Now you got Trump. You know, he's up there and he's like, I want you to know this is what I'm doing for you. I'm trying to make us safe and great and rich again. This is what he's doing, guys. He's done it the first time and now he missed out on the second time. Now it's his third time. And that's what he's doing. You know, he's basically doing the same thing on a bigger scale. He's saying, you know, I want to make us safe. This is how I'm going to do it. I want to make us great. This is how I'm going to do it. I want to make us rich. This is how we're going to do it. And then what's he do? Presents us the big, beautiful bill. Now, the big, beautiful bill, okay, from what I could gather, people, is for seniors. Of course, I looked at that part. And I'm still trying to fully understand it, but it seems to me, and I'm not a expert. And this is like my disclaimer to you now. I'm going by what I can so far understand. Okay, so if you want to look more into it, look it up. It's there to say. But anyways, on the part that I saw for seniors is that you got right now $1,500. What do you call it? What's that called? What's that called? You know, like you have a limit on
The
what you can
standard
work.
deduction
That's it.
goes
Thank
up
you.
to 15 grand.
50 grand. I misspoke. I think under Biden, about 2 years ago, I was looking it up because I want to, you know, stay like everybody else, stay okay with the IRS and everything. I wasn't filing that at that time, but I still want to know the rules in case I wanted to go back to work. Yay. But anyways, under Biden, I couldn't have made like a money anyway. So I guess it all worked out for me and seniors like me over 65 that, you know, feel like we want to go back into the workforce. So that's what made me look at it. I just one in case. Because under Trump, the first time, it was the steadiest time I worked when I was still in the workforce out in California was under Trump. I want that out there. Okay. Okay. So now, and not bad jobs. Okay. It was something that was okay. So now taking that, I want to go with the third term. I'm like, yay, all right. So I got the rest under Biden's crap, okay, to make a good thing out of a bad thing, like you know I like to do, take a positive from the negative, okay? So I got some rest. Okay, now maybe because of this big beautiful bill, I'm able to, and people like me over 65 who want to say, look, you know, I don't want to just make the money that pays my bills. I want to eventually have this or that. And that'll do it because, you know, my work ethic runs too deep to be not a worker, okay? And it's important that we know our stations of life. I've always said that, you know. Mine is in serving of some capacity. It's just the way I'm built. And my family is the same. So, you know, my relatives and my sons are but aren't. And I say that because they do it to use it to get to where they got to go. But they're really more of a business owner type thing than I am. I wanted it one time. I'm just going off the thing for a second. I wanted to one time have a restaurant many years ago until I saw the writing on the wall and said, you can't afford it. You know, so, and no matter which way I did it, okay, believe me, just have to take my word on that. And then I reduced it down to a wagon for food to sell. So it's like, you know, even that was too much. But anyways, yeah, so it's all about monies. You know, what you have to do with, I have all the other stuff that works for me to do it, but not, you know, not the biggest thing is the money. But anyways, and I believe I'd have customers. So there's that. But still, if you don't have enough money to pay for food, why would you have customers? But anyways, so my son Jeremy has his thing going on. I won't bring up what it is right now, but if you look at my descriptions on my video, you will see what it is, okay? Because I don't know if he wants me to right now. But anyways, look in the video's description and you'll see what I'm talking about. And I'll be more freely talk about it later too. So that's there. And my oldest son, he's in the same mindset as him. You know, they both kind of like have that mindset that they'll use what they need to do in order to earn. Of course, we all do, but they go further because they're able to. They just have that thing about them, even since they were little guys. Okay, so if you do the things that Trump is saying to do in the big beautiful bill, everyone could have that ability. Everyone could have the available possibility to be able to improve yourself. Bitcoin, Jeremy's big on. Like I said, he's taught us all it. That's a big improvement on a life. Okay,
Yeah.
it allows you so much.
If you hold Bitcoin every 4 years, your life gets easier.
So there, and I've mentioned, I did a couple videos on it myself. So for seniors especially, don't be afraid to do it. If you know someone who you trust, who can help you navigate it and everything, do it, please. It can help you with your retirement
And
options.
you don't need a lot. 0.1 Bitcoin is plenty. In 10 years, 0.1 Bitcoin is going to be a lot of money. You don't need a lot. You don't need half a Bitcoin. Even a third. 0.1 is a lot. It's going to be a lot of money.
And so, you know, President Trump, all he did was the big, beautiful bill is he made sure our country's safe with the border. Yeah, I voted for that big time. For the military, of course, I come from a background of military, everybody but the National Guard and Coast Guard and everybody else, yes, every relative, okay? Especially my father, the Marine. So I'm big on military getting what they need, okay?
And you're
Get
gonna
the
get
vets off the street.
And you're also
okay?
going to get a new national air, what do you call that shit? Air traffic control system.
Awesome.
You're going to get the highest new tech air traffic control system nationwide.
And good, that means we'll know
no
who's
more
coming into our country.
helicopters flying into planes.
That's right. And, you know, seriously,
might even be able to fix the roads of the airport.
and so, you know, so you have Bitcoin, right? But you have the safety part of his keeping our country safe again in the big beautiful bill, okay? And whatever he's got to do that, I'm all for it. I don't care what he spends on that. That means what I said and very included. The border, military, for sure, help those vets off the street. The other thing I have that I'd like Trump to do, and I've been saying this, is what he said a few years ago in a rally. He's not said it since. I don't know why. I can't speak for him, but I'll say what it is. He had an idea that for all the states that had lands, starting with California, a good way to help with all the homeless people was to have sections of government land, okay? BLM land is what YouTubers call it. So it's government land, okay? So it's free. It's government, okay? He's the government. So you take sections of that, and then he allows so many people, the same idea he has for alligator Alcatraz, only our American people off the streets, and then help them out. Put up tents, bring in work people, nurses, dental people for job sites, mental health, get them off drugs, whatever it is that you need to do. Children who are on the street, our future, our children, vets who fought and died for our country, laying on the street. I want him to do that. That's what I want him to do, okay? The alligator Alcatraz, I get that's important, okay? I do. I'm not banning that. I'm just saying, take that same idea and do what he said he would do a couple years ago, okay? So anyways, that helps us remember America first, right? America first. And although I do know what he's trying to do to keep our safe with the detaining them. I get that. Short term, not like, like you're going to stay here forever, okay? Because you might as well put them in with the criminals we have.
From what I understand, it's a staging area to fly them out.
Good, then that's okay. And yeah, I'm all for that. But take that and go larger for our people, where they could permanently get something help until they could get on their own again. This is what's called loss in your way. You lose your way and you end up where you end up, okay? So, God does us justice by guiding us to things, but we got to do our own stuff too. We got to do our own research, we got to do our own work, we got to do our own discipline, we got to do our own everything too, okay? Because that's part of life. That's what makes us human beings, okay? God did the most important part by giving us life, okay? So now Trump is taking that big beautiful bill and he's giving us a border, he's giving us a better economy. I think you mentioned he's got Bitcoin in there for something. He's doing something with Bitcoin in the big beautiful bill. I let him say that.
Not in there. He did that by executive order.
Oh, okay.
He created the strategic reserve for the U.S.
And then he's doing something with Medicaid, which, hey, I'm all for that. If you can work at least 20 hours of work, go out there and work. You know, kids are not.
Yeah.
You find a way.
This
People
is
are
not.
doing it.
This is not for handicapped people. If you're getting if you're a recipient of any medical, what is it, Section 8 medical food stamps, any of that, you have to contribute to society 20 hours.
Exactly.
It could be a part-time job, which helps you anyway.
Exactly.
Or it could be volunteering, but you've got to contribute. You can't just take.
And that's another reason why, just as a side thing here, for myself, I'll use me as, like I say to you all the time, I'm using me as an example, okay? The other reason I would like to go to work part-time now, not just because I'd make some more money from under Trump, but not just that, but I'm a practical person. I'm always going to do better with my practical side. It's just the way I'm made. It's also to keep my brain good, and it's also to keep me in a network of people, you know, like even though I'm, like right now I'm not shy, but I am on a shy side with lots of people, and I got to work really hard to get through it, right? But I want to keep my brain active too. So there's the other reason. So that's the other reason, okay? And I'm not alone in this. I know through doing my own YouTube channel, there's a lot of seniors out there my age and over my age who are doing YouTubes just to have that social network like I am. That's a part of why I do it. Because I'm anywhere near earning money on YouTube. You know, it's a way long time to go. But I do it for social network, and I do it because I like doing it. But anyways, so the big beautiful bill is the border, our military, Medicaid to keep our budget going, waste, what is it called? Waste, fraud, and abuse. Okay, big time, 3 things. Paying for 21 million people that belong in other countries because that's where their country is. I mean, if we didn't do this, okay, I think it's the last time I counted or heard someone say it in the news it was $495 billion we paid for in the 4 years of Biden that we know of for illegal aliens. That's a lot of money, guys. And that's another reason why he printed money, Biden. And that's another reason why Trump has to. Because Trump has to catch up with what Biden did. So he's now printing money to pay for everything that Biden did, okay, against us. He's doing for us. So think of it that way. Would you rather have a president who just is a traitor and sold your country out and you don't know who the ones who were helped him get into the stolen election? Or would you like to have the guy that God spared his life on the day of July 13th, I believe it was? Was it the date July 13th? Well, in July last year when he was almost assassinated, okay, when they shot him in his ear. So that who helped us the first time around, okay, when he came off the escalator with his beautiful wife. And then now, okay, so which one, guys? Could you leave a comment and let us know? Because the big beautiful bill, and let us know what you think of big beautiful bill, because I'm sure it's going to help somebody in this audience. Tips, okay, no tax on tips. I used to be a server years ago. Believe me, I lived off the tips, and that was many years ago. Then you have the overtime. His dad, overtime crazy. He's up there in heaven right now thinking, oh, that would have helped us, right? Now, present time, people are doing overtime. His brother, other people, everyone. It's a good thing. It's a good thing. And I don't know any of the other details. I'm just mentioning the big few things that I voted for. Like I said, I'm an example. Personally voted for. Big time, the border. That was number 1 for me.
Good. Also, the Ninth Circuit, this is before Trump even, he won, but he didn't take office. This is December 3rd. The Ninth Circuit Court, this didn't even have to go to the Supreme Court. The Ninth Circuit has ruled that the federal government has full, uncontested authority to deport illegal aliens, despite objections from local governments. So by the time Trump got in, he didn't even have to deal with the fact that California might be like, no, you can't deport this guy for this reason. This was already handled. Everybody was getting ready. Everybody has acknowledged that the flood of people was just messing things up. Just think if you threw a party for 30 people and 1,680 people showed up. How would that go?
Good example, yeah.
You have all the stuff you need for 30 people.
Yeah.
1,613 show up.
Yeah, so they'd each get a crumb of food.
And then bathroom.
Yeah.
And parking. And just space in the house. And then, you know, there's always going to be creeps
Yeah.
that pop up.
Yeah.
Look, there's just too many damn people came in all at once.
Yeah.
And fine, the president at the time welcomed you. The new president says, get out.
Not so much.
So just get out. Also, with the big, beautiful bill, this is a workers' bill.
Mm-hmm.
Unlimited overtime. No taxes on overtime means that back when I worked like that and had overtime, I would work unlimited overtime.
Mm-hmm.
My buddy figured out a formula under the old way that at a certain point of hours, somewhere in the teens, where it didn't even make sense for your check to work the damn overtime.
Mm-hmm.
Because you'd have to wait a year to get it back in your taxes. So you would eventually get it. But the way they broke it down, at least at our company, you didn't even see that much of an increase if you worked 25 hours versus like 15 or 16. I forget the exact number. But getting rid of all taxes on overtime, that's just huge for the worker bee. And if you're a worker like I was, and let's say maybe your girlfriend is a waitress or bartender or something like that, hairdresser, works on tips, I don't know. What else is
DoorDash, YouTube,
Yeah.
Uber.
Oh, yeah. What am I
Uber,
saying?
Uber,
All
Uber,
these delivery
Uber.
people, massage therapists,
Any type of driver.
eyelash,
Yeah.
nails people.
Yeah.
Dude, you know how much money they're going to make?
Yeah.
They're going to be able to make so much more money.
Yeah.
And it's a great bill for them. I want to wrap up just going over the last 2 weeks. What's today, July 4th?
Oh, can I just say something else too? I remembered now. He started helping me by juggling my brain when he was talking about the worker bee. On my spectrum, the senior citizen side, I remember now. Right now, I think it's a $15,000 deduction. But the thing is, back 2 years ago under Biden, when I had my ideas of going to work again, I looked it up under the IRS rule, and at that time, I believe it was 23,200 was your limit you could work, and anything over that you'd be taxed, right? But now he's giving you a couple more thousand, okay, to work with. And by the way, it's for anybody who's poor on social exempt, like me, because I'm considered one of the poor ones. Yeah, considering what other people could be making. His $6,000 increase is for the middle class, the upper class of seniors over 65 who are making like much more over with their overtime, with their regular social. So they're not going to get dinged, okay? So I just want that out there. So please look into it, seniors. Please look into it, worker bees.
All right, so your first 30 grand should not be taxed. That would be my tax policy. But nobody ever wants to do what I want to do. So let's go over the last 2 weeks. Look at Trump's 2 weeks. Going back to June 21st, destroyed Iran's nuclear program. Iran and Israel agreed to a ceasefire a couple days later. Same day, Supreme Court rules against the liberal judge. Trump can send illegal aliens to any country. 4 days later, Supreme Court rules against the liberal judge. No more national injunctions. Rwanda and Congo end their 30-year war. Same day as that last Supreme Court ruling, June 27th. U.S. and China trade deal. June 28th. Barely anybody even talked about it. Alligator Alcatraz in Florida Everglades. That has a airport on it, a runway. It's going to be a place where they send illegals as a launch pad to send everybody out. And a big part of it is giving them their due process. I don't believe that.
Breathe.
I don't believe that a non-citizen is entitled to a due process.
Well, yeah.
But whatever.
Yeah.
So what DeSantis, I'm starting to like him again.
Yeah, good.
He wanted to deputize a bunch of Florida National Guard to become judges.
Good.
To work through that.
Yay.
So that's good. So that's going to be a staging ground of getting people out. Due process.
Oh, can I interrupt just for one thing?
Yeah.
Okay, don't know the exact date. Jeremy's more organized with this thing that he has of information he's given you because of his research he does and everything. All I'm going to say is what I know of is at first I was upset with it, guys, because sometimes I get mad at Trump, okay? I love the guy. I vote 3 times out, and all that, and I consider myself MAGA. However, there's a couple times I'm a little upset, but then, he does something else that
All right,
makes me...
we're tightening up.
Okay. Well, anyways, it was the thing about the farmers. He was just mentioned it yesterday.
He'll allow certain illegals to be sponsored by farms so that the farm doesn't go bankrupt.
Yeah, and he said specifically that he was going to, because I was upset at that at first, because I'm like a lot of people who said the same thing. He said everybody's going, so no specialized thing on keeping some illegals and the rest go back. Now, but yesterday he said it himself that he's going to work alongside with Christy Nome, Secretary, Department of, HHS, to see what they could do to get them sponsored. So I suppose from that he's going to somehow get them legal. Okay, then I'm okay with it, because my thing is give Americans jobs first. That's my thing. Okay, and I don't think that's racist on any scale at all.
Of course,
because I'm American. I was born and raised.
Why would not racist?
I mean, my family's born and raised. Why wouldn't I? And all the legal citizens who became legal that did the work to do it and then sponsored people so that they could do it. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, we got that too, right? So
yeah, I'm not against illegals. I am against illegal aliens. I'm not against immigrants. My chick is an immigrant. My sister-in-law is an immigrant. I got a bunch of immigrant friends.
Legally,
legal, but everybody's legal. So
they did the work.
You got to show the respect to be legal.
Rule law.
Like I said, I don't go to other countries, start pissing in the street.
That's right.
All right. So then now, look at this July. So July 1 is Alligator Alcatraz. Still July 1. Israel agrees to ceasefire with Hamas for 60 days. Hamas looked over at, because Hamas is basically funded by Iran.
Terrorists.
Which means Iran is settling down.
Yeah.
NATO agrees to pay 5% of their GDP to U.S. for defense. Instead of 2%, which they weren't even paying. Now, Trump hits Iran, they're like, hey, we're actually getting something out of paying.
That's right.
Maybe we will then.
That's right.
Because if you let Iran stomp around with a couple of nuclear bombs, that's going to scare Europe more than us. We still got the ocean in between. We don't really need to deal. We helped Europe more with that than ourselves. Trade deal with Vietnam. That's July 2nd. Huge. Trade, Trump settles fraud lawsuit with CBS. CBS paid Trump $16 million. Why?
Teach them to be
because
liars.
They rigged up the interview with Kamala Harris and that dude who looked befuddled and sad as he asked her question after question, and she made, let's just call it strange answers.
Or none at all.
And the dude's expression was like, like even he was like, how am I supposed to vote for her?
Yeah.
Big beautiful bill passes yesterday, July 3rd.
4th of July, he signs it today, guys.
And this is like just 2 weeks. This is a monster 2 weeks.
Yeah.
A monster 2 weeks.
So how many days has he been in office now?
January 20th to July 4th. So, 11 days, and then 5 months.
The reason I ask is because
160, 170 days.
All the news, so-called news, stations said, "Oh, well, is this what he did for his first 100 days? Oh, well, is this all he did with?" Seriously, look at your calendar, guys, and see what 100 days would be, and see how much you could accomplish, or I could accomplish. I mean, he accomplished a heck of a lot for whatever amount of days it is.
And for those of you who are against the big, beautiful bill, I hate to end it on a down note, because you're afraid that the dollar's gonna blah, 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 and the dollar's dead.
Yeah.
It's just,
unfortunately.
The reason I bought Bitcoin and told everybody to is because you need something for when the dollar officially dies.
Yeah.
They killed the dollar when George Bush went nuts. They haven't been able to balance the budget since. And then after that Biden batch, it's over.
George Bush Jr. or Senior? Junior.
But really, it started with Reagan. He raided. Look, people love Reagan.
I get it.
I don't think he's a good president. They started putting everything on a credit card. They raided the Social Security funds. He allowed the first amnesty of 6-something million illegals back in 1986. New illegals have been coming ever since because they figure there'll just be an amnesty one day, and that's what they keep being told. So I don't really think much of Reagan. I don't know why so many people. I'm not a Republican.
Well,
I like Trump.
Can I say one thing on the Reagan? And this is because we lived it, your dad and I. He in his first term, okay, or second term, one of the terms, he is. Yes, he did. He allowed us to claim our interest on credit cards. And during those times, guys, you know, there were people paying a heck of a lot for their interest on their homes, including us. And they had no other way about doing things like now, charging, okay? So what he did was for IRS time came around, we could claim that interest, right? Well, darn it, sure enough, George Bush Sr. came into office, and guess what? He took it away. Yeah, stroke of a pen.
Oh, and just to
you might remember seniors.
So anyway, but the dollar's dead. It's dying. It's dead. Whatever. It's a zombie, and that's why I have Bitcoin to protect against. Eventually, it will die, and then we'll have to replace it. Remember, the dollar goes through different iterations. It used to be just gold and silver. Mm-hmm. Look at the Constitution and the 1791 Currency Act. And then for a little bit, it was just gold. And then you had the greenbacks during the Civil War. And then it was just the Federal Reserve debt note backed by gold. And in 71, they took away the gold backing. It always is changing form. There used to be no Federal Reserve. The Federal Reserve is a third bank. If you want to study that, you can. I think Trump just constantly pissing in Powell's face is about getting rid of the Federal Reserve, but we'll see. It doesn't matter. It'll die on its own because it's a central bank, and a central bank is a debt bomb. It's designed to explode your currency so then foreigners can come in and buy it up with the stronger currencies like gold and silver, or foreign currencies that aren't blown, where their economies aren't blown up. So it's a bomb. It's intentional. It's going to go off. Have some Bitcoin for that day. Otherwise, I no longer care about deficits or the national debt. George Bush ended the dollar. And it's just been, we're smart, we're clever, we have a military. So we've been dragging along. George Bush killed the dollar.
And so, guys, look, gals and guys, leave a comment in, if you could, for Jeremy on a couple things. Your thoughts on the big, beautiful bill, okay? How you think that Trump's really doing? I mean, I say, yeah, he's doing overwhelmingly good, okay? Very good, awesome. And, you know, try to keep it civil, though. I mean, you know, or we'll block you. But, you know, be a responsible adult and leave a comment on these things. And how is it affecting you and your life and your family? You know, I've given you examples about me. Jeremy's given you examples about him and our family and everyone. So, could you do that? And this way everybody knows a little bit of something about something.
I give Trump an A so far. I can't give him an A plus because there's no Epstein client list released, and I'm really just disgusted by Pam Bondi.
Yeah, and that's a whole other.
I just haven't seen much.
That's a whole nother podcast.
I just haven't seen much, and I was super pissed at Trump when I finally accepted that I will never see that client list, and we're never going to prosecute the Johns that paid to rape children on a child rape island. We're just not. We're not getting it.
Although
Trump cut some kind of deals, and we're not getting it.
Although she did give me a little hope again on something else, which she gave the other day. She said she gave a direct warning to whoever this so-called American is who's given a warning apps to letting illegal aliens know we're an ICE coming into their area. She gave him a sharp warning about that. So hopefully he listens, you know, and stops his shenanigans.
Simple deal. New management, he wants you to go, so you go. That's it.
Yeah.
Old management said, come on in. You came in. No hard feelings. You were welcomed in. New management says leave. Gotta go.
And look, this is Independence Day. We're fighting for our independence, Americans. Like we did with George Washington. What, next year's 250 years? We're Americans. We're built on that.
All right.
Happy 4th of July, guys.
Happy Independence Day. Thank you.
Thank you.
Obey Jesus, saving Bitcoin. Jeremy Hain.